Hi, it's Sharon Waxman. I'm the editor-in-chief of TheWrap, and we are coming to you from TheWrap's Plexus studio at the South by Southwest Film Festival. And we are here with the director and the cast of The Ballad of Lefty Brown. Welcome, everybody. Jared, tell us about the film. It's screening in the narrative section of the festival, and it's already getting some great buzz around it, from what I'm hearing.
Well, that's great.
I haven't seen it, but it's a Western, and Westerns seem to have been making a big comeback lately, so you're riding the zeitgeist apparently. But tell us about the film.
The film is a coming-of-age story for a 63-year-old cowboy. So it's about a sidekick, Lefty Brown, who basically has spent his entire adult life riding with this legendary Western hero, Edward Johnson, played by Peter Fonda. And then
Well, he is legendary.
He is a legendary. Yeah, you're working with a legend with Peter, and it's amazing to have him there. But when a rustler kills Johnson, Lefty is thrust out of his partner's shadow and has to hunt down a killer. And it's about a guy who's basically never made a decision his entire life, and now he's got to make a lot of very tough ones.
Well, we'll talk about your character, but I'm curious also how you feel it fits in today's culture.
Well, I think they're a good story. Western isn't a brand that immediately ka-ching, everybody lines up. Whereas maybe it did, but it's got to have a good story. It's got to relate to times and things. And I think this is a story about some old codgers and a few young ones. And but it's someone who is looking to kind of discover himself. So at a late stage. So it's a particular story inside the genre. It's not driven by the genre.
Tell us about your character. Who do you play?
Oh, I'm Jeremiah. I ran away from home and I end up in the wilderness. And Lefty finds me. My horse died. And like I said, we kind of like form a unlikely father and son bond. And I try to be this cowboy, but really I end up being looking like a dork. But it's kind of.
He looks great.
Yeah.
We're both kind of ill-equipped for our relationship. You're out in the West and you don't really know what's up and down, and I don't really know what it is to have somebody rely on me. I've always been the one to rely on somebody else, so I'm not very well equipped to deal with him. Father and son, typical.
I mean, is this a real? This is a big departure for you from other kind of roles. We're used to seeing you in kind of as an authority figure or as kind of very confident, in many of the roles that you've played. So can you talk a little bit about?
This is closer to the bone.
Yeah.
Yes. I think Jared really invited us all to kind of bring a lot of where we're at with our lives, and I think it's a chance to do a lot of things that I haven't been able to do in other movies, and I bet you these guys say the same thing. We the three of us had a great history, almost like brothers, as we were forging out, and I was lucky to go along with Peter Fonda and these two guys, and those things about betrayal and trust and brotherhood and all that kind of come into play in a very specific way. So I think feels unusual story for me.
Jared, when you set out to do this film, and when you have a character-based drama, you always discover things during the process of it. Did you shoot it in Montana, or is it? Tell us about that.
So we shot in Montana, and the way which I fell in love with when I went to go scout there. We looked at a lot of different places, but you just get off the plane in Montana and you look around and you're like, this is it. This is such a beautiful piece of country that isn't seen enough in film. But going back to what you were saying about like a character-based and sort of jumping on what Bill was saying, is that the way I like to work is a script is never actually finished until really you're shooting it. And I am constantly rewriting based on location. So, I write the original script knowing I'm going to shoot it somewhere in the West, but I don't know where. And then when I find my locations, I do a revision based on the locations and really try to study about Montana history and the Montana period and build Montana into the character of the script. And the same thing with each character. You know, there's a pass I do after I cast each actor, after I, you know, have a conversation with them. You know, Bill was attached for a year as we were putting this together, and he and I would go through line by line on the script. But all these guys, you know, we would sit down, we would talk about the script, and then there'd be a pass, and I'd try to build who they are into the characters. Because I think that's a really important part of the process.
That's great. Well, we're really excited to see the film, The Ballad of Lefty Brown. Thank you, Jared. Thank you to the cast, Bill, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And good luck with the film.
Thank you.
Thank you.